The internet, like the nerves in our body, it connects everyone. Then, silence. January 4th, 2025, noon in London. The world went offline. No warning, no reason, just quiet. The internet, our best friend, was gone. Everyone was confused. Was it just our neighborhood? Did the power go out? Minutes felt like hours. The world waited. The internet, once a fun thing, was now something we needed. We felt it missing everywhere. Cities stopped working. Traffic lights went dark. The once vibrant and bustling streets were now eerily silent, save for the occasional honk of a frustrated driver. The heartbeats of cities, their traffic systems, had come to a standstill. Without the guiding lights, intersections became chaotic and the usual rhythm of urban life was disrupted. Pedestrians, unsure of when to cross, hesitated at the curbs, adding to the confusion. GPS died. Drivers, lost and angry, moved slowly through jammed streets. The digital maps they relied on had vanished, leaving them to navigate the concrete maze on their own. Tempers flared as the gridlock worsened, and the cacophony of car horns filled the air. People leaned out of their windows, shouting directions or simply venting their frustration. The sense of direction, once taken for granted, was now a precious commodity. Airports became giant waiting rooms. Passengers with nowhere to go sat in long lines or sprawled across terminal floors. The usual hustle and bustle of airports had been replaced by a stagnant sea of humanity. Flights were grounded, and the departure boards displayed nothing but blank screens. Families huddled together, trying to make the best of the situation, while business travelers anxiously checked their watches, knowing their schedules were in disarray. Planes stayed on the ground. Passengers were stuck, staring at silent screens. The skies, usually crisscrossed with the paths of countless flights, were now empty. Pilots and crew members with no instructions to follow mingled with the passengers, sharing in their uncertainty. The sense of global connectivity, symbolized by air travel, had been severed, leaving everyone grounded in more ways than one. The world, so used to being connected, was frozen. People wandered the streets, their faces a mix of confusion and fear. Without their phones, they felt cut off from the world and each other. The usual hum of activity in bustling cities was replaced by an eerie stillness. From above, the gridlock looked like a giant, unmoving puzzle, with no one able to find the missing piece. Money markets stopped. No one could buy or sell. The financial districts, usually the nerve centers of global commerce, were silent. Traders, who thrived on the constant flow of information and transactions, were left staring at blank monitors. The economic engine of the world had stalled, and the implications were staggering. Businesses couldn't operate, and the ripple effects were felt in every corner of the globe. The internet, the invisible force that moves money around the world, was gone. The digital backbone of modern society had vanished, taking with it the ability to communicate, trade, and share information. Online banking, e-commerce, and even simple emails were no longer possible. The world had been thrust back into an analog age, and the sudden shift was jarring. People realized just how dependent they had become on the invisible networks that connected them. People started to panic. How long would this last? The uncertainty was palpable. Crowds gathered, seeking answers that no one could provide. The usual sources of information were silent, and rumors spread like wildfire. Some tried to remain calm, hoping for a quick resolution, while others feared the worst. The fabric of society, so tightly woven by technology, was unraveling, and no one knew what the future held. We couldn't talk to each other anymore. The world as we knew it had come to a standstill. Our phones, once buzzing with notifications, were now just lifeless screens. The silence was deafening and the confusion was palpable. People wandered the streets looking for answers, but there were none to be found. The digital world we had come to rely on had vanished in an instant, leaving us isolated and disconnected. Emails stayed unsent, social media stopped. The platforms that once connected us to the world were now just empty shells. Our inboxes, once overflowing with messages, were eerily quiet. The frustration grew as we realized how much we depended on these digital tools. Work came to a halt and businesses struggled to communicate. The silence extended beyond our personal lives, affecting every aspect of society. The constant online chatter went silent. Families and friends couldn't reach each other. The streets, usually filled with the hum of conversation, were now quiet. People tried to make phone calls, but the lines were dead. The worry in their eyes was unmistakable. Without the internet, we were cut off from our loved ones, unable to share our fears or seek comfort. The sense of isolation was overwhelming. News came in bits and pieces over the radio. Governments didn't know what to do. The radio, an old technology, became our lifeline. We huddled around it, straining to catch every word. The information was sparse and often contradictory. Government officials were in a frenzy, trying to make sense of the situation. News anchors, usually so composed, showed signs of stress. The uncertainty was crippling, and the lack of reliable information only made things worse. Was it an attack? A big accident? Not knowing made people scared. Rumors spread like wildfire, each more terrifying than the last. Small groups gathered to discuss the possibilities, their faces etched with worry. Security forces were on high alert, prepared for the worst. The fear of the unknown was a heavy burden, and it weighed on everyone. We watched the news, hoping for answers, but finding only more questions. Countries started to get nervous with each other. Without the internet to talk, it was easy to misunderstand. Things felt dangerous. Diplomatic meetings were tense, with each nation wary of the other's intentions. Military vehicles moved through the streets, a stark reminder of the potential for conflict. Maps showed rising global tensions, and the lack of communication only fueled the fire. The world was on edge, and the silence was the catalyst for a dangerous uncertainty. But even with all the chaos, some good things happened. People talked to their neighbors, sharing news and stories. Families played board games, remembering how to have fun without screens. Libraries became busy places. Neighbors, without the internet to distract them, found comfort in being together. Section 5. A little bit of hope. Inside government buildings and tech companies, people worked hard. Engineers raced against time. The internet, a giant web of connections, had to be fixed. No one knew what broke it. A cyber attack? A solar storm? A giant accident? They had to check everything. The world waited, hoping for a quick fix. Section 6. The long road back. After a long time, a small sign of life. One server came back online, then another. Slowly, the internet started working again. It wasn't fast and it wasn't everywhere at once. Some places got online quickly, others stayed offline. Governments made sure important things worked first. Hospitals, power, and phones. The world watched and waited, wanting to be connected again. Section 7. Back online. But what did it cost? When the internet was finally fixed, we saw the damage. The world's economy was hurt badly. Businesses lost lots of money. People didn't trust the internet anymore. Governments and companies realized how weak they were. Everyone knew they needed backup plans. Section 8. Time to think. The 24-hour blackout showed us how much we need the internet. It was more than just a tool, it was part of us. The outage made us think. What did we lose by always being online? Did we forget how to have real-life friends? Were we controlled by the internet? Section 9. Life after the blackout. The world had changed. The blackout was a wake-up call, a moment that forced us to reconsider our relationship with technology. It was a time when the screens went dark, and the silence of the digital world was deafening. We were thrust into a reality where the internet, our constant companion, was suddenly absent. It was a shock to the system, but it also opened our eyes to new possibilities. The internet was back, but things were different. We were different. The way we interacted with technology had fundamentally changed. We no longer took it for granted. We had learned to appreciate the moments of connectivity, but also the moments of disconnection. The blackout had taught us the value of balance, of knowing when to unplug and when to engage. We remembered the blackout, a warning about the internet. It was a reminder that our digital infrastructure, while powerful, is also fragile. The blackout had shown us the cracks in the system, the vulnerabilities that we had ignored for too long. It was a lesson in humility, a reminder that even the most advanced technology can fail. We saw what a world without the internet was like. Scary, but also a little bit freeing. Without the constant barrage of notifications and updates, we found ourselves with more time to think, to reflect, to connect with the world around us. It was a simpler time, a quieter time, and in many ways a more human time. We remembered how important it is to talk to each other face to face, to share stories and experiences without the mediation of a screen. The blackout had brought us closer together, had reminded us of the value of human connection. It was a time when we rediscovered the joy of conversation, the warmth of a shared moment. And how easily the internet can break. It was a sobering realization, a reminder that our digital lives are built on a foundation that can crumble at any moment. The blackout had shown us the importance of resilience, of building systems that can withstand the unexpected. It was a call to action, a challenge to create a more robust and reliable digital world. The blackout, even though it was bad, had its silver linings. It forced us to confront our dependence on technology, to question the ways in which it shapes our lives. It was a moment of reckoning, a chance to reevaluate our priorities and to make changes for the better. The blackout had been a catalyst for growth, for innovation, for a new way of thinking about technology. Could help us have a better relationship with technology. It was an opportunity to find a healthier balance, to use technology in ways that enhance our lives rather than dominate them. The blackout had shown us that it is possible to live without constant connectivity, that there is value in stepping back and taking a break from the digital world. Maybe we could build a future where the internet helps our lives instead of running them. A future where technology is a tool, not a master. A future where we are in control, where we use technology to enhance our humanity rather than diminish it. The blackout had given us a glimpse of that future, and it was up to us to make it a reality. It was a chance to create a world where technology serves us, where it helps us to connect, to create, to thrive. A world where the internet is a force for good, a tool for empowerment, a source of inspiration. The blackout had been a turning point, a moment of transformation, and it was up to us to seize the opportunity and to build a better, more balanced digital future.